Good afternoon, everyone. Hi, I hope you guys are able to hear me. If you can't, or it's not loud and clear, do tell. Okay, but hi, good evening. Okay, so hopefully you guys are able to hear me loud and clear for today. Okay, if not, it's not clear or it's a bit soft, do tell, so that I would be able to adjust my settings and everything else. But welcome to your day four of Basic English Language 101, or our English proficiency training, English language proficiency training. So yesterday we actually ended the day with voice related type of skills, right? On how to improve more with your voice in relation to voice projection, speech rate as well. I believe we stopped with speech rate, and we'll be continuing off with that, of course. And we'll be adding additional tips that you guys can use for you to be able to work more on voice related skills that you would need more. Also, customer service related skills that you might need, not just specifically for BPO related type of concerns, but just specifically speaking with your clients. So that can be applied to that as well. And also, we'll have a bit of US culture and geography later on if we would have the time for that. So, we'll mainly focus on everything related to customer service skills. We'll start off with voice. Okay, we'll continue off with that later on. Okay, so let me just scroll. Okay, later I'll try to have you guys read some scripts as well if we have the time. I do have some scripts here that you guys can actually read. So we'll go through that later on. Okay. So yesterday we actually stopped with speech rate, right? So again, for speech rate, this is going to be the pacing that you have when you are speaking. Are you speaking too fast? Are you speaking too slow? Okay, how fast are you actually speaking? So there's a lot of factors that affect or that would affect your speech rate. One of them will be the emotion that you're currently feeling, especially if, for example, you're doing an interview and you're a bit nervous. So most of the time, if you're feeling nervous, you tend to speak on a faster rate, okay, or fluency with the language as well. That would also affect your speech rate. So if you're having a bit of difficulties trying to grasp the language itself, you're not that used in speaking the language. So you tend to be on the slower side whenever you're speaking. So it's going to have some pauses. You will have some stuttering as well. Okay. That's why fluency is also important. And of course, being comfortable in using the language. Okay, so there's a lot of things that can affect your speech rate. So culture, geographical location, the subject itself, the subject matter. What are you talking about? If you're confident with the topic that you're talking about, of course, you're going to be a bit on the faster side or on the normal pacing as well. But if you're not that confident or you're not sure with what you're saying, right? So you're going to be a bit on the slower side whenever you're speaking. So gender, emotional state, fluency, profession, or audience as well. So these are some of the things that can affect our speech rate as well. So why do we need to change, or why do we need to be flexible with our speech rate? So I'm not saying that you should always be on the normal pacing. So it actually depends with the audience or the person that you are talking to, especially if it's going to be a one-on-one type of discussion, right? Because there would be instances that the person that you're talking to needs to catch up with what you're saying, or they're taking notes, for example. Or it could be that the person that you're talking to is a bit in a hurry. So if the person is in a hurry, so of course you cannot speak in a slow manner, right? Because it will eat up their time when you feel like they're in a hurry to actually complete the discussion that you are having. So for us, we need to be flexible, of course, with our speech rate. So if the person is in a hurry, so we need to speak on a faster sense, but of course, understandable still. But if, for example, they're asking you to slow down with what you're saying, because sometimes some would say that can you please slow down a bit? I'm trying to get all of the information, right? So if they're asking you to slow down, so of course you need to slow down as well to adapt to the person who is actually listening. Okay, so changing the rate of your speech is being able to adjust, okay, to the rate of the speech of the person who you are talking to as well, and that's very important. So okay, so again, because there could be that they're in a hurry, okay, or if, for example, the person that they're talking to is a bit of an elderly and they're trying to listen clearly to whatever you're going to say. So be flexible. Okay, that's the thing. You need to be flexible with the person that you are actually talking to. Okay, because being flexible would really help for the other person to be able to understand, okay, the information that you would want to relay. Okay, so for speech rate, the pitch in speech is the relative highness or lowness of a tone as perceived by the ear, which depends on the number of vibrations per second. So it's the main acoustic correlation of tone and intonation as well. So with the speech rate as well, it also affects the tone that we have whenever we are actually relaying an information. So if you're a bit on a high tone, are you on a low tone? So the emotion, the emotional state that you have affects as well, just like what we have mentioned earlier, right? Because if you're a bit on a low tone, so that might sound that you're a bit on a downside on your emotional state, or you're not that enthusiastic as well with whatever you are saying. And if you're a bit on a higher tone, so it would sound like you're excited, you're happy, you're willing to talk to them, right? That's why tone is very important as well with how we are relaying our information. Okay, okay, so there. Okay, so just some examples that we might have. So, how are you today? So, how can I make you smile today? So, we always need to have the higher pitch for that, right, at the end, since it's going to be a question, just like what we have mentioned yesterday when we discussed our punctuation marks, right? So, punctuation marks are very important for you to be able to follow through with the exact tone that we will be having. So if it's going to be on a higher tone, are you supposed to be on a lower tone for your pitch as well? Okay, so that's why it's very important for us to be able to follow through with our pitch or our tone as well. Okay, okay, okay. So there. Now, apart from our voice, wait, let me just stop sharing my screen so that I can show the other slide that I have. Wait up. Okay. Okay. So part of customer service is again your voice, but apart from the voice, other things that we can consider so that we can be a better listener, better customer service for our callers, for the person that we are talking to, for your clients as well. Okay, even if it's just with our clients, so this will be applicable as well. So another thing that you should consider apart from your voice is, of course, your listening skills. Okay, because it's very important for us to be able to understand, to be able to listen properly on what our or on what the audience is actually telling you. Okay, it cannot be that it's just you going to talk and talk and talk and talk endlessly without listening to the other person. So some of the information that we'll be going through with listening skills will have the hearing versus listening. So they're actually two different things. What's the difference between hearing? What's the difference between listening as well? And what should we actually apply? Active listening as well. So some tips that would make us be a better active listener. So what are the purpose and what are the effects of us being able to actively listen? And what are the four stages that we have of active listening, barriers as well for active listening, and how we will be able to develop our listening skills. Okay, so there. So first, okay, apart from listening skills, we'll also have that, but here. Okay, so first for listening skills. Okay, so what will be the difference between hearing and listening? So what is hearing? What is listening? Anyone who might have an idea, or what's your view of what is hearing, what is listening? Oh, let me ask. Let me call you then so that you'll be able to speak up as well. Okay, what about for you? What do you think is hearing? What's listening? Is that the same thing, or is there a difference for you in terms of hearing and listening as well? Let me ask Billy.
Hello, good evening.
Hi, good evening.
To my understanding,
Mm-hmm.
hearing is a sense of every human, while
Mm-hmm.
listening is understanding what the people say around you.
Very good. Exactly. That's right.
Yeah,
Perfect.
thank
Okay, that's
you.
right. Good job. That's correct. Okay, and I'm sure everyone is aware of that as well. So that's really correct. So for hearing, yes, it's one of our five senses, right? So it's just a sense that we have as humans, by which the tones, the noises as well, so we will be able to receive it. Okay, but if it's going to be listening, so Billy is very much correct with that, that it's hearing, but being able to understand as well, being able to interpret, being able to process what exactly was the sound that we have heard, what was said by the other party. Okay, you being able to understand what you actually heard. So that will be the difference of hearing and listening. So hearing is just simply accepting it, while for listening, you are able to understand exactly, or able to interpret. Okay, what was exactly said by the other party. Okay, good job. Very good. Okay, so it's important for us to be able to know the difference between the two, because since we already know the difference between hearing and listening, so we do know, right, that it's important for us to be able to listen. Okay, not just simply hear what the other people are saying, but for us to be able to listen as well exactly what they are actually relaying to us. So I'm sure you've experienced this, that you are hearing something, but you did not really understand what was said, right? Because you just simply heard it. You did not really fully process what was said, so you were not listening. Okay, it was just going through in and out of your ears, right? So we can actually hear something without choosing to listen. So whenever that you are talking to someone, to your customer, for example, to your clients. Okay, so make sure that you would always listen. Okay, instead of just simply hearing whatever sounds they are actually making. Okay, so it's important for us to be able to do that. Okay, so we also have here as well what is passive and active listening. So we'll also have that later on. And why is it important for us to actually listen, right? Because just like what we mentioned, so it's going to be very important for us to listen, for us to be able to fully understand what was being said by the other party, right? So there. So one of the ways for us to be able to understand what the other party is actually talking about is for us to practice what we call active listening, right? So what is active listening? Active listening is going to be what? Can you please read it out? Let me ask Melody.
Yes, hello.
Hi.
Okay.
Yeah,
Active,
can you please read it out?
okay. Active listening, an essential skills and the act of mindfully hearing and attempting to comprehend the meaning of words spoken by another in a conversation or speech. It may also mean you listen more than you talk, and that you also listen with limited barriers, with encouragement, and with sensitivity.
Very good. That's right. Okay, good job. Thank you. Are you nervous?
A little bit.
You sounded nervous because you were reading it in a bit of a fast pace, but
Fast.
not too fast.
Maybe that's one of my problem. No, not problem anyway. It runs in the family that is we speak faster, even in Tagalog, we speak faster.
Right? Yes. There are really people like that who tend to speak a bit on a faster pace. So that's something that you are conscious about, right? That's something that you know of. So make sure that you will just be able to adjust your speech
Yes,
appropriately
yes.
if ever someone would request it, just in case. But if it's not a problem with the person is actually listening, right, then that's totally normal. Just go ahead with how you normally speak up. But
Well,
thank you. Yes, go on. Sorry.
actually, when I record myself, I don't like what I'm hearing because it's really
Mhm.
fast. Yeah, I have to work on it.
uh, so how do you work on that?
I try to speak it slower. And my kids, they say, parang, ew! They're not,
It's a bit cringy.
yeah, it's cringy.
They're
They're
not
not
used.
used to, I will speak like I'm a rapper. Rapper.
That's how they normally hear you.
Yes,
So
yes.
if you tend to speak a bit slower,
Yeah.
they're
Like
like,
when an
why?
essential skill and the act of it's not me. I think if ever I speak slow, but that's I need to improve. I
Mm-hmm.
need to improve in that part in speaking. I have to speak slower
Mm-hmm.
so that
Well, that's nice. That's nice that you're aware with what you want to work on and with what you want to improve more on. But yes, if you're really used in speaking a bit faster, so it's going to be a bit of a challenge, right, for you to actually try to speak a bit calmer, maybe,
yes.
or a bit slower as well. So that would
I have these
really
emotions, full of emotions when I'm speaking.
yes, that would really take a lot of practice. But that's good. That's good that you're actually practicing and recording yourself. I
Yes,
like that. Good
thank you.
job. Good job. And thank you very much for reading that as well. So you're not nervous, but you were just really a bit on the faster side of of speaking as well. I see. Okay, but anyway, thank you very much for that, Melody.
Thank you.
So yes, that's right. For active listening, being able to comprehend, okay, being able to comprehend, to understand the meaning, okay, of what was spoken by the other person that you are actually talking to or that you are speaking with. Okay. So for active listening, it can happen as well that, of course, since we are saying listening, so you will listen more, more than you are actually talking, and that you are also listening with encouragement, with sensitivity as well, okay, with also limited barrier. So this is very important, not just in English, of course, but in everyday life, right? It's very important for us to be able to actively listen whenever someone is talking to us, even in Filipino, right? Because if we're not actively listening, if we are just listening to what we want to hear, like a selective listener, there will be a lot of misunderstandings that might happen, right? Miscommunication that would happen. Because if you're just a selective listener, so you will only just hear what you want to hear, right? So it's not the full picture, it's not going to be the whole thing. But if, for example, you're an active listener, you're listening to everything, you're getting all of the hints that they are actually telling you, you're getting all of the meaning that they want to relay as well. So you would be able to fully understand and there will be no miscommunication, right? And if ever there would be something that's a bit of unclear with what they've said, you would be able to ask questions, right? So just to clarify, this is what we said, right? So that they would be able to clear up any misunderstanding that might happen. Because if you did not actively listen, so you would not be able to ask questions, to ask any clarifications, right? If there would be something that's unclear on your end. So it's very important for us to be able to do active listening as well. Always, always to always participate, to always practice active listening, right? Not just with your clients, not just with your customers, for example, but in our everyday life, right? When we're talking with our friends, when you're talking with your family, with your parents, for example, with your kids as well. So it's important, right, to always listen to whatever they would say, especially if there would be some underlying meaning with what they're saying, right? Because sometimes not everyone would say the information that they want directly, right? Sometimes there are some who will have it in a bit of a code that there would be an underlying meaning that you would need to uncover first. So active listening is very important for that, so that you would be able to catch if ever that there would be some hidden meaning that they would want you to understand, right? Instead of them being able to say it directly. Okay. So, what are the purposes? Okay. And what are the effects of active listening? So, for listening for information, so you'd be able to quickly identify, you would be able to know exactly what's the important or what are the relevant information that they would want for you to know as well. So listening for comprehension as well. So you will be able to analyze, you will be able to evaluate as well, so that you will be able to properly provide the correct resolution to the concern of the person that you're talking to, or you would be able to provide the correct answer, the appropriate answer to their questions, to their concerns. Or if you're talking to your clients, for example, you will be able to properly respond to what request that they would want you to do as well. And of course, listening for the emotion or the state of mind of the person that you are talking to, so that you will be able to properly empathize as well. You will be able to properly communicate, properly connect with them. Okay, especially if they're not in a good mood, for example, or they're not in a good state. So you would know what tone you should have, right? And what responses you should be having, or what you should be answering to their questions. Okay, that's why it's important for us to be able to actively listen as well, especially in terms of the emotional state or the state of mind of the person that you're talking to. Because just like what I've mentioned yesterday, right? We need to be able to respond or empathize appropriately, okay, to the other person. So if they're happy, if they said something happy, something that should be congratulated, or something that they're excited about, so we should be able to at least acknowledge that, right? We should be able to respond to that instead of just simply, oh, okay, or just simply going through with what you want to say, right? Because if you ignored those type of information, for example, they said, oh, we're going to have a party this weekend, and you just simply responded with, upon checking here, for the information that you need, this is what would happen, right? So you did not listen, right? It was selective listening, or you just simply heard what they said, but you are not properly responding to that. So it's important for us to be able to properly respond, appropriately respond to all of the details that they are saying, so that they know that we are actually listening, right? Because if you're just simply going through with what you want to say, so they would know that, oh, this person is not listening, or you were not acknowledging whatever they said, which is of course a result as well of not listening, right? That's why it's important for us to be able to catch all of the details that we would have in, just in case, because of course, English is not going to be your first, is not our first language, right? And there will really be some barriers that would happen, even if you're already used in speaking the language, since everyone will have different tones, they will have their own accents as well, especially in the US. Not everyone will have the same accent. So there will be some instances that you might have difficulties with, being able to understand some accent, or being able to understand the other person. So at least if you are actively listening, you would know what to clarify, right? So just to verify, this is what you said, right? So at least they would know as well if what you heard was correct. Okay, they would be able to correct you if ever it was wrong. Okay, instead of just simply saying, for example, they said, okay, this is the information that I have, blah, 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 and you did not understand. You did not fully understand it, even if you really listen. So you cannot just simply say, I'm sorry, can you repeat it again? Right? Because if you are saying, can you repeat it again? It feels like you did not listen, right? So instead of saying, can you repeat it again? You can just simply, what we call paraphrase. Okay, when we say paraphrase, you will repeat what they have said, whatever you catch, whatever information you were able to catch. So, for example, they said, so the information that I have here is this and that. But again, you did not catch everything. So you can ask instead, so just to verify the information that you said is this, right? Or am I right that this was the information that you have told me? Blah, blah, blah. Instead of just simply asking again, I'm sorry, can you repeat your question? Can you repeat the information again? And then they would start from the very beginning, right? So for you to be able to at least show that I was listening. It's just that I did not catch everything, but I did listen, right? So do paraphrasing instead of just simply saying, pardon, sorry, can you repeat everything? Sorry, what did you say? Okay, so try to not use those phrases. Okay, instead do paraphrasing. Try to repeat what information they said, whatever you were able to catch. Okay, because if there was something missing, or if there was something wrong, they would correct you anyway. At least you were able to show that you did listen to whatever they said. It's just that there were some things, there was some information that you were able to clearly catch, right? Or to clearly capture. Okay, okay. So try to do paraphrasing. Okay, instead of just simply going through, instead of just simply saying, sorry, can you repeat? Sorry, what was it? I'm sorry, what did you say? Okay, pardon. Okay. Okay, okay. So there. So those are just some of the details, or some of the ways that you can exhibit that you were really actively listening to the person that you are actually talking to. Okay. So there. So these are just some of the stages that we have for active listening. So first, being able to attending or focusing. So what do we have for attending or focusing? Okay, can you please read the bullets that we have here? Kindly read it out. Hannah.
Attending focusing. Pay total attention to what is being said, hearing what is said behind the words. Second
Yes,
line.
go ahead. All of it.
Okay. Knowing where to focus one's listening attention and feeling at ease doing so. Engaging with the speaker without interrupting their flow. Picking up verbal and nonverbal cues and knowing what to do with them. And last, increasing the memory of the listener, chunking and checking.
Very good. Thank you for that, Hannah. Okay, so just some tips in terms of the pauses. There were some pauses that were a bit awkward in terms of the punctuations, but everything was good. Good job. Okay, thank you, Hannah. So yes, that's right. For attending or focusing, okay, it's being able to focus, being able to see exactly what are the important points, what are the information that are being said. Okay, so being or having attention to the information that they were saying, just like what was mentioned earlier. So there would be instances that they are not directly saying, okay, the exact information that they would want to relay. There are some instances that it's going to be just undertones, okay, or just hidden meaning that you would need to understand. And being able to listen as well, just like what you mentioned earlier, you would be able to feel as well, right? Their emotion. You would be able to hear their tone. You would be able to hear their speech rate. So you will know the feeling if they're a bit hesitant. You would know if they're in a hurry. You will know if they're confident as well, or what exact state of emotion they are in just by simply listening, right? By being able to actively listen. So it's also important to be able to pick the verbal and non-verbal cues as well. So for the non-verbal cues, the emotions that they do have, right? If it's just through phone, so you would really need to actively listen with that. But if it's something that is face to face, right? For example, you're doing a video chat with that person that you're talking to, so it's a bit easier to pick up the nonverbal cues as well, like with their gestures, right? With their facial expression, if they're angry, if they're irate. So it's easier to pick up from that, right? But if it's without their physical appearance, just through their voice. So you really need to actively listen with that as well. So you need to know if they're already irate, if they're going a bit on a higher tone, right? So you would feel like, are they already irate? Are they angry? Right? So there. And of course, chunking and checking as well. So being able to verify, okay, what information they have actually mentioned. So in relation to that, if you are able to focus, okay, if you are able to pay attention to the exact information that was mentioned by the person that you are talking to, so the next stage that we have for actively listening is verifying. So what do we have for verifying? Can you please read it out, Anna?
Verifying, reflecting back to affirm the speaker and ensure they feel understood. And last is mirror and summarize the details that you just received from the customer.
That's right. Very good. Yes. Just a bit on the high tone. Okay, that's correct. Okay, so since you are able to pay attention to whatever was said, so you will be able to verify the information that they have told you, right? You will be able to do paraphrasing, that just to verify this is the information that you told me, right? This is your question, this is what you need, right? Because you were able to pay attention to what was actually said by the other person that you are actually talking to. So Reflecting back to affirm the speaker, just like what Anna said, to ensure that they feel understood, so that they would know that, oh, you did listen, that you did understand what they actually want, what their concern is, right? And that you will be able to summarize as well, or at least again paraphrase whatever information they are actually needing from you, or whatever they have mentioned to you as well. Okay. And just in case that, for example, okay, you did listen, you did pay attention, you were able to paraphrase, you were able to verify the details, but you're still not clear with whatever was said, right? Because there will be instances like that, that even though you did get what they are saying, there will still be some unclear details, some unclear information, or there will still be some parts that you have a question about. So if you do have any questions or anything that you need clarification on, so you will be able to do the third stage, which is going to be probing. So what do we have for probing, or what exactly is probing? Can you please read it out, Gian? Gian? Oh, you don't have it. Okay, that's okay. No worries about that. Oh, I hope your fur babies get better. Okay. Hopefully they would get better. Okay. Can you please read it instead? Aaron.
Get more information based on what was initially given by the customer.
Very good. That's right. Okay. So for probing, what we mean by probing is for you to be able to ask additional questions. Okay. For you to be able to get additional details that you would need to be able to fulfill whatever your client or whatever your customer wants you to do, or whatever they're asking about. Okay. So that you will be able to get the full picture, you will be able to clear out everything, especially if there are some details that you still need more clarification on. So you would need to do probing for that. Okay, so you can ask additional questions, additional details. So it's not just simply the paraphrasing that just to verify this is what you need, right? It's asking additional details. Okay, which they have not mentioned yet. Okay, so these are information that you would want to get that was not mentioned yet by the person that you are actually talking to. Okay, which is of course related to what was initially provided by your client or by your customer. Okay, and lastly, for the last stage of active listening that we have responding. So what exactly do we mean by responding? Can you please read it out, Reynald?
Responding. Provide feedback to the customer. Respond appropriately to the customer. Ability to use empathy or sympathy statements. And report.
Very good. That's right. Okay. So if you were really able, okay, if you really did actively listen to the person that you're talking to, so you will be able to appropriately respond, okay, or appropriately answer, okay, to whatever they have said to you. Okay, especially you will be able to empathize or sympathize as well to whatever they are in, whatever situation they currently are in. So you will be able to appropriately do that as well. And we also have your rapport. What is rapport? Rapport is being able to connect with your customer or the person that you are talking to. So it's like doing small talks. Okay, building a connection with the person that you're talking to. So not just purely business, because if it's just you being purely business, you will just simply stick to everything that is related to the topic itself, right? So if they're asking information, you'll just simply focus on that. All the questions that you will be asking is related to that. But if you are building rapport, so you're building a connection outside of that, so that your client or your customer will be a bit more comfortable, okay, speaking with you, like just simply small talks. If you're asking, so how they are today, how's the weather? How's the weather? Try to not ask that. How's the weather? Because that's very common. Like, how's the weather there? Like, why? Why are you asking that? So, like, how are you today, for example? Or if it's Friday, so you can ask, so any plans that you have for the weekend? Okay. Or if it's Monday, how was your weekend? Or if it's after a holiday, so how was your holiday? Okay. So building just small talks, building a small connection that you have with the client or your customer before you actually go through the business itself, right? Or for example, while you're on a downtime, if you're researching something for your client, for example, and they're just simply waiting on the line and you cannot stand the silence, because sometimes that might happen, that there's a silence that would happen while you're on the phone, right? But you are actually doing something. So with that, you can actually do a small talk for that as well. Ah, okay, there. Okay, you can do a small talk with that as well. Okay, but it's not going to be essential, or it's not going to be required that you always build rapport, because not everyone is used into building rapport, or not everyone is used with having small talks. Okay, not everyone knows how to do small talks. Like for me, I really don't know how to do small talk. So I cannot ask the question, so how are you today? Because if they ask that back, so how would I answer? So I really am scared before of doing small talks or building rapport. So before, I'm just like purely business, or if they ask questions, that's the only time that I would answer, and I would just simply ask it back. But me initiating that, so that's a thing that's a bit of difficult to happen before, right? But it's going to be beneficial if you are doing rapport, since again, it will have your client or it will have your customer be a bit of in an ease. They will be a bit more comfortable with you, speaking with you, talking with you as well, instead of just simply formality, instead of just being purely formal, right? Or purely business. So it's always better if you can build rapport as well. So you can try it, just doing small rapport at the beginning, like how are you today, or how's your day today. Okay, so you can start with the small things, and then you will actually get used to it in no time if you are really doing that. Okay, if you try to practice more of that, so that will really help you out in a long time, because after some time it will come out naturally, like doing rapport as well. But there are some who are really good with doing rapport. Okay, if you're really good with doing rapport, then that's good. That's going to be an advantage as well, because you will be able to talk casually with your client, for example, or with your customers as well. Okay, and you will know how to properly respond or what questions to ask as well. Okay, so that's something that's going to be beneficial as well. So building rapport, especially if there's a downtime, okay, during your conversation, and you cannot stand the silence. Okay, so these are the 4 stages that we have for active listening. So attending, focusing, verifying as well, probing, and then responding. Okay, so the things that you can do for you to ensure that you are exhibiting active listening. But of course, even though that you really want to actively listen, there will be some barriers for that as well. So what are the barriers that we have for active listening? So barriers for active listening. So first we have external barriers or distractions. So external meaning it's not because of you. So these are the outside factors, right? That most of the time we might not be able to control. Okay, but some of them we can control, but something unavoidable as well. So we have noise, multitasking, we have chatters as well, or noises as well. Okay, near the listener or the person that you're talking to. So noise, like around you, your environment, for example, or the people around you. So sometimes it's unavoidable, right? Especially if it's a bit loud, for you to get distracted with the noises as well, for you to focus with the person who you're actually speaking with. Multitasking as well. So if you have a lot of things that you are actually doing, so there are people who can do multitasking. There are some who cannot, that they really need to focus on one thing, right? Because if they're multitasking, they would be able to completely ignore the other details or the other information. So if you can multitask, that's good. But if you know that you are not capable of multitasking, because if you multitask, you will be able to forget other things, okay, or you would not be able to do your best with that. So if you can avoid doing multitasking, right, then make sure to avoid that. Also chatters near the listener or with the person that you're talking to, if you are hearing voices as well or other noises from their side, so that's something that can be distracting as well. Okay, so it would really take a lot of our focus for us to be able to just simply listen to whatever they are actually saying, right? Now, apart from external distractions, we also have, of course, internal barriers or internal distractions, which is, of course, within you already, especially if you have a lot of things that you're thinking about. Okay, so thinking about other things, for example, you're planning a weekend, you're daydreaming, okay, thinking of one's response, you're thinking of what to say, assumptions made as well, prejudices, judgments, certain attitudes, or personality traits. Okay, these are the other factors that might hinder us for us to be able to actively listen to the person that we are actually talking to. Especially daydreaming, right? Especially if you're the type of person who isn't able to focus, who's unable to focus for a long period of time, right? Like after a few seconds, your mind just simply wanders off. That happens, right? That sometimes happens. So if your mind just simply wanders off, your mind will actually block whatever is being heard. Okay, it will not process whatever noise they're actually hearing. Also, if you are busy thinking on what should I say next, how should I respond? Okay, because if you're thinking about that, of course, your mind is busy, right? So if your mind is busy, it will not be able to process as well. It will not be able to understand as well or to digest as well what was being said by the other person. Okay, or if you have any assumptions, if you have any early judgments to the person that you're talking to, so that might be a bit difficult as well, since you already have an assumption that, oh, this is the type of person that she is, or this is what they should say, or this is what they will be saying. So since you are thinking about that, you would not be able to hear or listen as well properly to whatever they are saying. So try to avoid having any assumptions that I think this is what they will say. I think this is what they want. I think this is what they want me to do. Okay, or I think that she is this type of person. Okay, so try to get rid of those particular assumptions or any prejudice that you have towards another person, so that your mind will not be clouded. Okay, your mind will not be clouded. Okay, and you will not have this set of expectations that you have of them. Okay, and certain attitudes or personality traits as well. Sometimes we just simply cannot listen. at a certain time of the day, right? Or because of a specific scenario, or you're thinking about other things, you are thinking about things that you have just recently watched, you are thinking about what should I do next, okay? Or you're thinking about what should I do tomorrow, or you're thinking about a future event that you will be attending, okay? So especially for those who has difficulty to focus, right? So that's something that will take a lot of work if those are the things that are hindering you from being able to actively listen, right? So how will we be able to stop that? Or at least what are just some of the tips, okay, that you would have for us to be able to actively listen? Okay, how will we be able to develop our listening skills more? And not you. Okay. So how will we be able to develop our listening skills? So first, prepare yourself to listen, and it's actually a conscious choice that I want to listen. So you're going to prepare yourself. Okay, that especially for example, you have a meeting, or you are going to talk to your client, or you're going to talk to a customer, right? So you need to prepare yourself for that, right? So that your mind is ready. Your mind is going to be set that, okay, I have this thing that I need to do. So I would need to listen. So make sure not to wander off somewhere else mind. Okay, so being able to prepare yourself, working on concentration, if especially if you know that you have difficulties with doing that. So there would be exercises that you can find on the internet, for example, on how to work on your concentration more. Okay, and of course make it a habit. Okay, don't just do it like a one-time thing that, okay, I'm already good. Okay, don't make it a one-time thing, because it's going to really take work for you to develop a habit. So you need to do it for 7 days continuously, or for at least for a few weeks, for your body to be able to get used with that. Because if you're just going to do it as a one-time thing, your body will not be able to adjust with it. Okay, and it would not easily apply it. Okay, even if you want to. Okay, even if you want to apply it, you will have difficulties to do that if it's just going to be a one-time thing for you. Okay, so you really need to make it a habit. Like for example, for exercising, right? If you're not doing exercises on a regular basis, it's a bit difficult for you to actually do it, right? For you to actually proceed with that. So you need to really force yourself to do it every day, for example, or to do it on a weekly basis before you actually adjust to it, before you actually get used that, yes, my body has already adjusted, my body has already made it a habit. Okay. Also, listen for keywords, especially if you're having a bit of a difficulty understanding what the other person is saying. So try to catch keywords instead. And if you are making it sure that you're trying to catch some keywords, so your mind will automatically focus on that as well. So you will be basically concentrating on whatever was being said. And of course, take notes, right? Because if we are listening to something, it's a bit difficult to remember what was being said as well. So try to take notes, okay, for you to have the retention as well, that, oh, this is what they said. Okay, and you don't need to type it verbatim, of course, right? You don't need to take notes verbatim. So you can try to take notes as well, just with the key points, the keywords as well, as long as you would be able to understand it after that. Oh, this is what they said. Okay, this is what they mean. Okay, so there. So these are just some of the tips that we have for us to be able to develop our listening skills as well. Okay. So prepare yourself to listen. make it a conscious choice. So it would really take an effort for you to be able to actively listen. Okay, work on your concentration and make it a habit. Again, it's not a one-time thing that you would need to do if you really want to develop your concentration or your ability to focus. Okay, try to do it, for example, twice a week first, and then if you're used to it twice a week, so do it, add up the number of days, do it 4 times a week or 5 times a week, and once you get used to it, you'll be able to do it every day, right? So there, listening or getting keywords as well, and being able to take notes also. There. Okay, okay. There. Okay, now apart from that, okay, so for us to be able to have better customer service skills as well. Okay, so we also have here being able to manage the customer's perception. Okay, so what do we mean by that? Okay, us being able to manage what the customer will be expecting from us or how the customer understood, okay, whatever we have actually said. Okay, how they understand. Okay, how they understand what we said. Okay, because of course we have a control on that as well if we were able to explain it clearly, right? If we're a bit on a wishy-washy side, that the customer will get confused as well, whatever we are saying. Okay, so what kind of impressions do we have on this following statements? Okay, first one. So I'm sorry I didn't call you back. My boss had us in another meeting that lasted all morning. So if you say this to your client, for example, or to your customer, I'm sorry I did not call you back. My boss had us in another meeting that lasted all morning. What do you think, or what perception will you have with this statement? If, for example, I'm the I'm the representative and you are the client, and I told you this. I'm sorry I was unable to call you back. My boss actually had us in another meeting that lasted all morning. So what will be the perception that you would have, or how will you be able to understand this particular statement that I said? Um, how about for you, Alicia? Alicia? Do you have an Alicia? No mic? No? Okay, let me ask other people then. How about for you, Marvin? Marvin? Marvin, are you here? Marvin? Marvin? Just in case you're on mute, just in case. Why are you not responding, Char? Okay, no. No mic as well. Difficulties with your mic, your headset. That's fine. Okay. Or you can just simply send it through the chat box if you're a bit on the shy side to actually speak up. That's okay as well. I'm okay with that. Any perceptions or any impression that you might have with these particular statements? So I'm sorry I did not call you back. My boss had us in another meeting that lasted all morning. We also have, I hope this will solve your problem. And also, I don't understand why customer service did not help you. What type of impressions do we have with these particular statements? If you're the one who's actually hearing it, for example, if you're the one who's hearing it, you're the customer, for example, with frustration. If I'm a customer, maybe I'll get upset. That's right, right? If they say these things to you, it's like you're not the priority. Right? Of course, as a customer, you want to be able, you want for the associate, for example, to be able to help you, right? That's why you're asking assistance. So you want to feel important as well. You want to feel heard, right? You want to feel listened to. You want to feel that they would be able to help you. But with these statements, it feels like, oh, they have other things that they're doing. So you might be just a sideline that they're doing, or they're not sure as well, right, with what they are going to assist you with. For example, this one, I hope this will solve your problem. If you say, I hope this will solve your problem, so you're not sure, right? You're not sure that this will actually help them. You're just hoping. Cross fingers, I hope this will help you. Okay, but I'm not sure if this will actually really solve your problem, right? Also, if it says, I don't understand why customer service did not help you. So they're also frustrated, or they should have helped you already. So why did they not help you? Right? So there's a bit of a frustration as well. Yes, not a priority. So it's going to be a bit difficult, right? On your end, if you hear these type of statements, like you're going to feel a bit down if you heard these particular statements, right? So try to, especially if you're providing, for example, resolution to your clients or to your customers. So try to get rid of the phrases, I think, I believe, I hope. This is not a pageant. Okay, it's not a pageant. So you need to take out this phrase, especially the I believe. I'm not really sure why, but it's a common phrase that I am hearing. I believe this is going to, this is what you should do. Okay, is that your opinion? Right? Are you saying your opinion, or is that the thing that should really be done? Right? So try to take out those phrases. I believe, I hope, I think. Okay, it's like you're just saying your opinion, you're just hoping for the best, but it's not really the best resolution. Okay, you need to sound sure with whatever you are saying, right? It's like you are blaming others, right? So please don't do that as well. Okay, never ever blame others. Okay, if they're airing out their frustrations, for example, don't blame others. Just do what you will be able to do with to your client or to your customers, so that you will be able to resolve their concern. So try to get out of the negative emotions, try to get rid of their negative emotions. Instead, try to replace it with a positive one, that instead of you being frustrated, I can actually do this for you. Okay, so if they instead of saying, I don't understand why customer service did not help you, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, but I will be able to help you with this. Whatever you want, I will help you. Okay, because you need to be able to have the impression that you can actually do what they want, instead of you just being a wishy-washy type of person, just hoping that hopefully I can do it. Okay, I think I would be able to do it. Okay, if you say, I think this is the answer, so you're not sure, right? You're not sure as well. So again, try to get rid of those particular phrases. I hope, I believe, I think, because that's the common phrases that we are hearing as well. Okay, because getting rid of these phrases will help you sound more sure with what you're saying. Okay, that's right. You need to give a direct answer or information with what the with what they are actually needing. Okay, okay. So there. So confidence is very important. Okay, that's why We've had your voice as well, because that would also contribute with your confidence, being able to actively listen as well. That would also help you be confident because you know what you're saying, you know what they want, you know what they need, and you know what to ask as well. Okay, so let your clients, let your callers feel that you are actually confident, because you being able to make them feel that you're confident, they will have trust as well that, okay, this person knows what she's doing. Okay. Also with interviews as well. If you're an applicant, for example, fake it till you make it, girl. Even if you're nervous, everyone gets nervous with during interviews. No one will never get nervous with that. It's just that the others are able to at least mask it, that even though they're nervous, they can still present themselves that, okay, I'm confident, even though I'm not. Okay, with how they are actually sounding, right? So let the person that you're talking to feel that you are actually confident, so that they would know that, yes, I can do it. I know what I'm saying. Okay. Capture the attention of the caller through a response that promotes a sense of assurance and confidence that you have the ability to be able to handle their concern, to be able to handle their request, especially if, for example, for your clients, so that they would feel that, okay, they can do what I want them to do. They can do the job that I will give them. Okay. So instead of telling a customer or a client what you cannot do, tell them what you can do instead. Okay. So instead of saying, I cannot do that, okay, offer another resolution that you that will be able to solve their problem. Okay. I'm so sorry. Offer another response. Offer another thing that will be their alternative. Okay, that instead of doing this, you can actually do this to resolve your concern. Okay, I can actually do this for you to resolve your concern. Okay, always focus on the positives. Okay, or if it's unavoidable that you would really need to inform them that this is the thing that I cannot do, always follow it up with what's the thing that you can do then. That because that's why they are asking for your assistance, right? That's why they are asking questions. That's why they are seeking for your help, because they think that you will be able to help them, right? So instead of saying that I cannot, I cannot, I don't know, okay, offer the thing that you can do instead. That would of course resolve their concerns there. Okay, and if you said that, oh, that's actually not possible, so always follow it up with, instead of that, you can actually do this. So if ever that you're saying something negative, for example, always follow it up with something positive, so that it will be balanced. Okay, instead of just simply ending it with a negative information, so it will leave the discussion or your conversation in a bad place, right? So try to always follow it up with a positive information. Okay, always follow it up with a positive detail or information. Okay, for example, it's something that you don't handle, another person would handle that. Okay, so you can tell them that, oh, unfortunately, I would not be able to assist you with that particular concerns, with that particular concern of yours, but I will be able to transfer you or connect you to the other person who will be able to help you with that instead. So would you like me to go ahead and connect you with them to better assist you? Right? So instead of just saying, oh, I actually cannot do that for you, and leaving it at that, right? So it's always better that if there's something negative, always follow it up with positive reinforcement. Okay, with the positive information, with the positive detail, so that they would know, okay, that, oh, she's doing it. Okay, she knows how to help me. She knows how to assist me. Okay, so that your client, your customer will have this trust on you, okay, that you actually know what you're doing, even though at times you're just simply winging it. Right? Sometimes you really don't know what to do. You're just really reaching blindly there, but having confidence, speaking with confidence really makes everything different. Okay, so be more confident with how you are actually saying the details or the information as well. Okay, and again, instead of telling them what you cannot do, tell them what you can do instead. Okay, so instead of this, I can actually do this for you instead, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's right. That's correct. Okay, offer an alternative resolution. Instead of just simply ending it with, no, I cannot do that. I don't know how to do it. That will leave a bad taste in their mouth. Okay. So there. So these are just some of the positive scripting that we have. Okay, so instead of saying these things, we have this information that we can give out instead. So instead of saying these phrases, so it's better to say these instead. So as much as I would like to help you, or I can't do that. It's out of my scope. I don't handle that. That's not part of my job. Okay, so here's what I can do. What's the other resolution that they would need to do? What's the other thing that they need to do? Do they need to contact other people? Do they need to do this and that instead? Can they get this in this website? Okay. So instead of saying, as much as I would like to help you, because if you say this, as much as I would like to help you, it will really sound like, oh, there's nothing that I can do for you. I'm so sorry. It's just a better way of saying it, right? As much as I would like to help you. I can't do that or it's out of my scope. To simply say, here's what I can do for you. Okay. Next, you need to or you have to. Why is this something that we can replace with? Because if you say you need to, you have to, it's like you're instructing them. Okay, so instead of saying you need to do this, you have to do that. So please submit or kindly provide this detail, kindly do this, blah, blah, blah. Okay, kindly proceed with this information. Okay, I don't know, so never say I don't know. Okay, never say it. Never say I don't know. Okay, you can say, let me research that for you. Okay. Also, instead of saying, okay, one moment, please. Okay, you can say, I'd be happy to get that information for you. Okay. Also, for example, you're going to connect them to other people. Okay, because it's not something that we can handle. So instead of saying, let me give you their number in case the line gets disconnected. So that will have a negative connotation, right? Because the line is getting disconnected. So instead of that, you can say, let me give you their contact number or phone number for future reference. And never say, I'll try. Okay, say, I will. Because if you say, I'll try, okay, I'll try. It would sound like, oh, I might not be able to do it. Okay, I might not be able to make it. I'll just try my best then. Okay, so always provide assurance to your client, to your customer that you can do it. Okay, so say, I will. Okay. So instead of these details or these phrases, you can say this instead. So again, positive scripting is a must. Okay. Instead of saying something negative, try to say it in a better way. Okay, that will sound more positive to the listener as well. Okay. Okay. So there. Those are some of the things that could make it sound better. Even though that technically it's going to be the same thing, right? But at least it will make your listener feel better, right? Because if you say, I don't know, so why are they seeking help? Why are they asking you for assistance then if you don't know? Okay, though really, there will be instances that there will be some things that you don't know, right? That's why you can do your research, for example. Okay, as long as it's within your job scope, of course. Okay, so there. Always make them feel confident that I know what I'm doing. I can do it for you. Okay. And even though there will be times that you are really not sure with how to do it or with what information you're going to provide, oh, still sound confident. Okay, don't say I can do it for you. Ending it, you are saying yes, I can do it for you, but with a question. Okay, that's why your tone is very important as well. Your voice is very important because if you're a bit on the softer side, for example, I can do it for you. Okay, you don't sound confident as well. Okay, even if the information that you're saying is a confident statement, but how you sound is no, you don't sound confident. So of course, will they even believe you? Right? Will they even believe you if you don't sound believable? Okay, that's why your voice projection is very important for that as well. Okay, instead or aside rather with just your positive scriptings, with your confident statements, apart from that, make sure that you sound positive as well, that you sound confident as well. Okay, what if, for example, you sound sleepy and you're saying, okay, let me go ahead and research that for you. Do you think the other person will believe, is he really doing research? Or is that person just sleeping? Okay, so make sure that your voice as well will come out good. You will also sound confident, even though at times, no, I'm not confident. Okay, but hey, we can just simply mask it, right? Here. Okay, so it's important to make your listeners feel confident and to be able to trust you as well. Okay, that they would know that they can actually trust you with these particular details or these particular information. Okay. So these are just some of the tips that we have in terms of voice projection, um, having better customer service skills in terms of listening, being able to actively listen, okay, being able to have the positive perception of your customers as well. Okay, so hopefully these tips that we have, the barriers as well that we were able to mention, hopefully it's something that would be able to help you. Okay, it's not just for, of course, talking with your client or your customers, but in everyday life. Okay, everyday life as well. So it's also something that would be able to help you so that you will be a better speaker, okay, a better listener as well, and you will be able to have a better response, okay, to other people. Okay. Here. Okay, now there might be a lot of customers or clients that you might encounter because we have the different type of customers or clients. So you might have a happy client, happy customer, um, clients with foreign accent that might be a bit difficult for you to understand or to listen to. You might have the rumbler as well, or the talker, the one who is saying a lot of things that's not related to the main topic. You might have an irate customer, an irate client as well, a confused one. Okay, so it's important that you will be able to adjust accordingly as well to whatever type of customer or client that you will be encountering. Okay, especially if, for example, it's a talker or a rambler, like they have a lot of things that you're just simply asking one question, but they have branched out to other topics with that particular question, and it's wasting everyone's time, right? Just by listening to them. So if, for example, you're talking to a type of client or a customer that's a talker, so you can try to use close-ended questions instead of an open-ended ones. Okay, that it close-ended questions mean it's a yes or no type of question, or it's just a one-word type of answer. But open-ended question means that there's an explanation. It's a why, what, how type of questions, or a how question rather, that they will need explanation for it. It's not just a yes or no question. Okay, and you just simply need to keep on bringing them back to the main subject. Okay, so just to verify for this question, blah, blah, blah. Okay, or you can interject politely as well, just in case that they're really talking and talking and talking that's not related to the subject or the topic itself. Okay. I just want to ask, how do you feel if you always receive emails saying, I apologize for that? What do you mean? The customer is the one apologizing? The customer apologized for what? Or the email from what? How do you feel if you always receive emails saying, I apologized for that? Like they're insinuating that they already apologized, so why are you not accepting the apology? That's how I feel when I see the phrase I apologized for that, or the sentence I apologized for that. So I already apologized, so what do you want me to do then? That's how I might perceive it if it's just that sentence I apologized for that. But if it's I apologize for that without the D, okay, it's an I apologize for that without the D, so it's not a past tense, so they are saying sorry, right? But if they say I apologized for that, so they already did the apology, so they're done with it. So next topic, next subject. Okay, so how will we proceed from here? Okay, but if it is, I apologize for that without the D, it's a present type of tense. So they are saying sorry. Right? What's the context? Did they do something wrong? Are you the customer, or is it like an application? If it's an application, yes, it's a rejection. But if, for example, you're the customer and they're the providers, for example, so are they saying sorry about a particular incident, a particular scenario that happened? Right. So it depends on the context. Right. It actually depends on the context and how they how they are actually wording it for real. If it really says I apologized for that, so it's a thing in the past. Okay, I'm already done with, with my apology. I'm already good with that. So how will we proceed from here? How will we move forward from here after I'm done with my apology? But if it's I apologize for that, it's the present tense. Oh, they should say I apologize for that, not I apologized for that, because it's a thing in the past. Like I'm done with it. So how will we move forward from there? Right. So it should be I apologize without the D. So it's a present thing that I'm sorry that that's happening. Okay, I'm sorry that you are experiencing that scenario. Mm. It feels if you're a customer that keeps asking on the updates on things, then if they said I apologized for that, then it would feel like, so how will we move forward from here? What do you want me to do then? That's my own understanding of it, since it's I apologized for that, or maybe it was just wrong grammar. That's why grammars are important, since it would be it will actually cause um miscommunication. Okay, it would cause miscommunication. It should be I apologize for that, not I apologized for that. Okay, if that's a scenario, it should be I apologize for that, a present thing. Okay, so that it would feel that they are sorry because of the inconvenience. But if it says I apologized for that, so I already said my sorry before. So how will we proceed from here? Okay, so there. That's my own understanding of that. So I'm like, why is it the past? Why is it the past tense? Maybe it was just wrong grammar. Hopefully it was. But if it's not wrong grammar, they really said I apologize for that. So how will we move forward? What do you want me to do next? Right. I'm causing rifts between you and the company. I'm causing further misunderstanding between you and the company. Right. It's like be more irate. Sorry, no. Maybe it was just incorrect tense of the word. Why did you ask me? I'm why did you ask me? I read too much into things. So I have a lot of interpretation for that. Okay, but anyway, there. Okay, so these are just some of the things, okay, that you can take note of. Okay, in regards with our voice projection, your speech rate as well, your tones. Okay, later on, or rather later on, tomorrow we'll have, or rather I'll have you guys read some scripts as well, so that you will be able to practice these things that we have discussed, your voice projection, your speech rate, also when to reading the punctuation marks, when to pause, when to stop. Okay, also active listening. Okay, we'll have a script that I will be acting as your client, for example, and you will be the associate or the representative. Okay, and but before that, we'll also be discussing topics about US culture and geography, but very basic details about US culture and geography, since most of you guys, most of your clients will be, you're aiming for international clients, right? So at least you will have some idea on how they work, their idioms as well, so that if ever that you heard it, you would know that it's not the literal meaning, but this is what they actually mean. Okay, so we'll also have discussion about that tomorrow. And then again, the script. Okay, so that you will be able to practice these things that we have discussed for today. Okay, but for now, that's everything that I have for you guys. So hopefully we're able to pick up some things, especially with how to be able to be a better speaker, a better listener as well with the topics that we have discussed for today. And again, thank you. Thank you very much for attending the session. I hope you guys have a very good rest of the day. It's almost Friday. So hold on there. It's almost the weekend. Okay. So I hope you guys have a good rest. Thank you.